Hello, and welcome to Silicon Valley Girls Chat Over Tea. I'm Gloria,
And I'm Rosetta.
and in the spirit of love and kindness, we want you to always listen to one another, be compassionate to one another, and be compassionate to us as you participate with us on this chat. We're so grateful that you're here to join us today.
Yes, thank you so much, everyone, for supporting us. And welcome back to another one of our chats. We're going to get going very quickly because there's so much to talk about today. And we're Silicon Valley Girls Chat Over Tea, as Gloria said, and we're going to talk about the teas that we're drinking. But before I forget, just want to remind you that if you like our chats, please hit the thumb icon. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, subscribe, and hit the bell notification so you don't miss any of our chats. There you go. And then we're off with what tea are we drinking today? And today I am drinking a tea called Tazo Wild Sweet Orange.
Ooh.
Can you see that?
Woohoo. Yeah.
There you go. And the ingredients are, it says, what is it? The ingredients are lemongrass, blackberry leaves, citric acid, rose hips, spearmint leaves, turmeric for color, riboflavors, what else for color, orange peel, hibiscus flower, rose petals, orange essence, ginger root, licorice
Her
extract.
favorite.
So a lot of licorice. I'm enjoying that. And I've got a tea bag in my iced tea little holder here.
Oh,
So
oh,
you
look
can
how
put,
cute.
yes, you can put, I've shown this before, you can put loose leaf teas in there, but I put a tea bag in there, and at the top, it will protect all the loose leaf teas from coming out when you sip. So
Nice.
here you go, everyone. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And we'd like to hear what you're drinking, Gloria.
Mm. Well, she's got cold tea. I got hot tea. So I am actually drinking
Well, this is hot
chai
tea.
5 organic chai tea. It is chai 5 organic chai herbal tea. Make sure you get all those names in there. The ingredients are cinnamon, fennel seed, ginger root, orange peel, and what's the magic one? Licorice root.
Licorice root, but it has fennel in, which is the same as licorice.
Right, so it's a double dose. I'll have to bring this to the studio. Then we have cloves, chicory, and they are all organically grown. And they are, I got stuck in this. I'm like, where are you grown if you're organically? So they're actually grown in New Jersey.
New
New Jersey.
Jersey.
Yes. So once again, cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Hmm. So, as we get started with our chat, like always, our thoughts and prayers go out to the universe. We're going through some very challenging times. And for Rosetta and I, we believe that it is time for the authentic individuals to show up, to stand up and stop the negativity and stop the bullying and embrace and go after life with love, honor, respect. So we hope you will come with us on this journey through love, honor, and respect. So the first thing we're going to talk about today is Black History Month continues. Today is the 22nd, so we only have 7 more days before we will cycle out of Black History Month. And Rosetta and I have some individuals that we would like to share with you. She's going to share first, and then I will, whichever one she doesn't share, then I will share. So we get more ladies involved.
Well, today I'm doing something different. I'm going to be talking about some did you knows during the Black History Month, some kind of trivia did you knows.
Yes.
So, but before I start, I'm going to say that on February the 1st, the 13th Amendment outlawed slavery in the United States. So, did you all know that? I'm
Mhm.
sure you didn't. I'm sure some of you did. And that is known as National Freedom Day. That's what it was
Mhm.
called, National Freedom Day. So, facts. Did you know? Number one, William Tucker, son of indentured servant from Great Britain, was the first recorded African child to be born in the colonies in 1624. That's fact number one.
All right.
Fact number two, Vermont was the first colony to ban slavery in 1777. Fact number three, in the 1700s, a Quaker named Anthony Benezet created the first school for African American children. Fact number four, Hattie McDaniel became the first black female lady to win an Oscar for her supporting role in Gone with the
With the
Wind
wind. Yes,
in
ma'am. Number one.
1940. Yes. And
Yes.
Sidney Poitier was the first man to win 24 years later for leading role in Lilies of the Field.
Yes.
Very good. And then fact number five, Nat King Cole was the first African American talk show host to have a TV show when the Nat King Cole show debuted on NBC in 1956.
Wow.
So there you have it, just a few fun facts.
Yes, those are excellent facts. And we want to kind of keep the spirit going forward. And there was a movie that came out called Hidden Figures, and it represented mathematicians and engineers whose work at NASA, they were classified as human computers. In the movie, they would say, I need you to go get me a computer. And, you would think a computer. Oh, no, it was a human. So Katherine Johnson, as a mathematician, her calculations of orbital mechanic, her calculations of orbitable mechanisms as a NASA employee were critical to the success of the first and subsequent U.S. crew space flights. She calculated the flight paths for Alan Shepard, the first American in space, and later checked critical flight path calculations for Apollo 13. She earned the reputation for mastering complex manual calculations and helped pioneer the use of computers to perform the task. I mean, I just think that's amazing that her mind was just so gifted. Mary Jackson was a Black mathematician and aerospace engineer at National Advisory Committee for Aeronautics. She worked at Langley Research Center in Hampton, Virginia, for most of her career. She started as a computer at the segregated West Area Computing Division in 1951. She took advantage of engineering classes, and in 1958, she became NASA's first Black female engineer. Dorothy Vaughan. Dorothy Vaughan was an African-American mathematician and human computer who worked for the National Advisory Committee for Aeronautics and NASA at Langley Research Center in Hampton, Virginia. She taught herself Fortran. That's not an easy language. They call them go-get statements. I tried to take Fortran once. That did not work, so I had to let it go. I was at De Anza College, and I told my professor, I said, this and my brain are not connecting. However, she self-taught herself, and she became part of NASA's Analysis and Computation Division. And in 1949, she became acting supervisor of the West Area Computers, the first African-American woman to supervise a group of staff at that center. Prior to that, they were just computers. Then there's Gladys West. She was a mathematician who worked on the processing and analysis of satellite data that helped lead to the development of the Global Positioning System, which is known as GPS. We all have a little GPS around us. And the last one I'm going to highlight today is Harriet Tubman. Harriet was born a slave, and yet she dedicated her life to freeing slaves. She returned to Maryland many times over a decade to rescue both family and non-family members from the bondage of slavery. In fact, she earned the nickname Moses after a prophet Moses in the Bible who led his people to freedom. In all of her journeys, she never lost a single passenger. And during the Civil War, she worked for the Union Army as a cook, a nurse, and even a spy. And at the end of her life, she was buried with military honors at Fort Hill Cemetery in New York. So these are just, mathematicians and women who are fighting for freedom. And, it's kind of sad to say, however, I think for our world today, we're going to have more women engaged to get freedom and honor and respect back because it's gone. It's like, how much money do you have and how much are you willing to pay me? And that's a kind of a sad state of affairs, but kind of one of those, it is what it is. So, we're dedicating a lot of our chats to just highlighting and making people aware of raising our children, taking care of our children, nurturing our children. And with that in mind, whenever we find something that's shocking or that we believe maybe we should talk about this, get it out so everyone knows what's going on, we will bring it to your attention. So yesterday in the state of Alabama, the Alabama State Supreme Court passed a law that says embryos are just like children, whether they're in the uterus or not. And anyone that terminates that life can be held accountable. Now, this is a sad situation because when you're going through, say, in vitro, you will harvest eggs and they will put the eggs with the sperm to create the embryos to create the baby. The sad thing is that, once again, if people feel they're going to be prosecuted for helping a woman in her reproductive process, they're not going to do it. So companies are already stepping back and saying, no, we're not going to do those anymore. Not until the law is clear, because we don't want to be sued. However, this is going to severely impact women who you already have a challenge having a baby, and you had IVR as your solution, and they just basically took that away.
Yeah, and the other thing is what happens to women that already have their embryos saved? What happens then,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Do
You know,
they, is it like, because not all embryos take, right?
right.
So what's going to happen is there's going to be a freeze, like Gloria said, no one's going to be able to do anything. And the University of Alabama at Birmingham's Division of Reproductive Endocrinology and Infertility said it paused all IVF treatment, which will impact the ability for women to have babies through IVF, but we must evaluate the potential that our patients and physicians could be prosecuted criminally or face punitive damages. So this is really up in the air, and it's very sad that they have to come to a pause on this IVF treatment for all their patients. And
Yeah.
I'm just shocked that it has come to this, that they ruled that this is what it is. Because, well, in that case, if you're calling an embryo child, then what about for tax purposes, right?
Right.
Claim for tax purposes. I have this many embryos, I can claim for taxes, right?
Yeah,
Isn't that
because
true?
when you freeze things, it's not just a freeze and go. There are payments associated to that. Whether you pay the whole amount up front, you make payments. So, that's a $64 million question. If I'm paying for the storage of my embryos, can I write their care off my taxes? It's a good
Yeah.
question.
Well, if you consider an embryo a child, then you can, what I was saying was you could put them as when you're doing your taxes.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
that
that's what I'm
correct?
saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying is how do we determine how far they're willing to go with this
Right.
this new law?
Right. There's always something new that's going to come up. And No, no, kind of nervous. Do you think any other states will follow in Alabama's footsteps?
Well, they said there's already 7 states that's considering the law for them. And I'm sure they are part of the community that right now is putting all kinds of laws in place. I was watching, there's a Wednesday night, they do like Chicago Fire, Chicago Med, and some, Chicago PDs, whatever. On the Chicago Med last night, a young couple go to a hospital. I think they're in Seattle, this hospital, not where they lived, because the young girl, the mom, her water broke. However, they said, no, that doesn't matter. You have to, until that embryo, until that baby is birth, you're on your own. So on the show, they went to the hospital in Chicago Med, so a hospital in Chicago. And what they found is that because her water had broken 15 days prior.
Mm,
And so we all know if you don't have that umbilical, the fluid to house the baby, that means that all bets are off.
right.
So she tried to seek medical attention in her state, didn't happen. So she goes there. By the time she gets to the hospital, she's septic. And her and her husband, they almost lose her, they save her life. The doctor works very hard to save her uterus so she can have future children. And she said to her husband, she goes, he goes, well, we'll try when you're ready. And she goes, I'll never try this again. I'll never do this again, because it was so hard for her as a mom to have a baby terminate inside of her. And it had to get to the point that she almost died before she could get medical service. Now, if she had stayed in the state that they were at, they still wouldn't have done anything until the baby processes out by itself. They're not going to let you do anything. So they've got IVRs, and now they're working on things to make it impossible for a woman who is under severe medical condition to terminate a pregnancy. And like you said, I never ever would have thought this would have happened. And I hope if there are any women listening to us today, you have to understand you have to vote for people and put people in office who care more about you and your life than they do about them and their pocketbooks, because this is going too far. I mean, we want the world to be populated with human beings, so now we're going to shut it down so that we don't know what we're going to get. It's frightful to think that our society has come to this.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I concur with everything that Gloria said, and really, what else? There's not much more to say. I mean,
Yeah.
people have
Vote.
spoken, and yes, vote is the most important thing we need to do. That's the one of the only things we can do right now.
Right. And I hope that you know, I remember when I was really young, you know how kids are, I'm smarter than you and da, 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 da. And I remember my grandmother told me, she goes, it's not what you say, it's what you do. And I hope that there are women all over the United States. You don't have to talk about this. You just go in and you vote for people who are going to support women and the future lives of our children, and stop trying to put us back into the 50s. We have technology for a reason. And to do these despicable things to women is horrible,
Yeah.
horrible, horrible. So, did you hear of this new ruling out of Alabama? What do you all think? Comment below. Let us know what you think, because we always say it takes a village to raise a family. And it's okay to have your own opinion. However, when your opinion starts to affect a lot of people negatively, maybe you should go back and reassess your opinion. Maybe. So, we're going to talk about the latest award shows. We feel like every week we chat with you, there's a new awards show. And so now we've got a couple. So, over the weekend, we had the BAFTA awards. And these normally you used to see like Prince Williams and Duchess Kate. She's recovering and he's really busy being king right now. So it was just it was a nice service. It was hosted by what was his name? I can't remember his name. But Oppenheimer, as previous award shows we've talked to you about, they won 7 awards. I mean, Oppenheimer is climbing. So of course they're like number one for the Oscars because they've won, the BAFTA, they've won the Golden Globe. It's just continuing. Robert Downey Jr. won for best what is it? Best Supporting Actor, Oppenheimer. Emma Stone won Best Actress for Poor Things. Cillian Murphy, Best Actor for Oppenheimer. uh, Divine Joy Randolph for The Holdovers. I really think I'm going to have to check that movie out because she's just ticking up there. She's winning them all.
That's an
Doesn't she?
amazing movie. You have to watch it. I really
So you've
enjoyed it.
seen it? It was really
Yeah,
good.
it's a well-deserved award for her.
Okay, so before the Oscars, I'm gonna make sure I get to see that. And Holdovers also won for best casting. Best director was Christopher Nolan for Oppenheimer. Best original score was Oppenheimer. Best editing, best cinematography, and original score for Oppenheimer. Um, and these were really, really, they just kind of kept the tone that it's the same people that have won the previous awards. The best part for me of the night was when Michael J. Fox appeared on stage. He has Parkinson, and it has kind of ravaged a lot of his life. He was a wonderful movie star and he made some great movies. One of my favorite is where he plays with Michael Douglas as Mr. President. And, he had a little bit of the twitch then, but it wasn't like really noticeable. I just thought he was just being quirky. Um, he talked a lot about, accountability and people being responsible and people, once again, people acting out. You know, People have got to slow down and pay attention to what's going on. I mean, they gave him a standing ovation. They rolled him out into a wheelchair, but he stood up at the podium to give his talk. Very inspirational, very heartfelt. So I thought that was really good. So BAFTA is kind of just following in the lines. Now we're going to talk a little bit about People's Choice.
Yeah, People's Choice. Did you watch it? It was hosted by Simu Liu, who is Shang-Chi in the show.
I loved his opening. It was so cute.
Yes, it was. And he was also in the movie Barbie as well. He played a really good Ken. I really enjoyed
Mhm.
that. And some of the winners were, you know, People's Choice Award is a bit different than the other awards like BAFTA and Oscar and
Right,
Golden Globes because they're very unique. They have their own kind of categories that they vote on, and it's people's choice. So it's not
right.
really
We
by
vote.
right, we vote for them. So there are different categories which are not quite the same categories as what's voted on for the BAFTAs or the Oscars or the Golden Globe.
Right.
So we have obviously movie of the year, which is the same in all of the award shows, went to Barbie. Action
Surprise.
movie, surprise. Action movie, well, actually, I thought Oppenheimer, but Barbie won, which is good. Action movie of the year was Hunger Games. Then we have comedy movie of the year, which I don't really quite understand how this became the winner is Barbie, because they're not comedy. So I don't quite understand that.
Right.
Drama movie of the year, Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer.
Then we have male movie star of the year, Ryan Gosling for Barbie.
Yep.
Female movie star of the year is Margot Robbie for Barbie. Then we have action movie star of the year, Rachel Zegler for Hunger Games. Comedy movie star of the year is Jennifer Lawrence, No Hard Feelings, which I've not watched that movie. I have no clue what it's about. Have you heard of it?
No, until I watched the show, I had no idea what they were talking
Yeah.
about.
Drama movie star of the year, Jenna Ortega for Scream. Haven't seen that.
I thought we had already done Scream 1, Scream 2,
Yeah,
Scream.
it's like Scream 3, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's Scream and it's the new Roman numerals V1. So whatever
Yes.
that's what it is. Then
Yes.
we have a movie performance of the year, America Ferrera for Barbie. She was excellent in that. I can say well
Yes.
deserved.
Yes.
TV show of the year, Grey's Anatomy. I'm
Of
surprised. I didn't even
course.
know that was still running.
Of course. I love Grays. And yes, it is still running. Even though Meredith left, they're still hanging in there.
Wow, it's been there a long time.
Yes.
We have comedy show of the year, Only Murders in the Building, and I'm not even sure how that became comedy because it's not really a comedy. I don't think it's a comedy.
I didn't think it was a comedy either since they're looking for murderers, you know?
Yeah, it's not really, yeah, it's not. I don't know how they got in. Drama show of the year, The Last of Us. Sci-fi fantasy show of the year is Loki. Then we have reality show of the year,
The Kardashians.
Kardashians. I don't really know how that happened.
I haven't watched it since they moved to Hulu and
No, I
started.
have not watched one episode of Hulu. I used to watch them all when they were on E Entertainment, and then after that, I stopped.
Yes.
Reality, the Kardashians, competition show of the year, The Voice,
Mm-hmm.
and then binge worthy show of the year, The Summer I Turned Pretty, which I've never heard of.
Mm-mm.
Then male
I haven't
TV
heard of it
star,
either.
yeah, I haven't either. Male TV star of the year, Pedro Pascal for The Last of Us.
Mm-hmm.
Female star of the year, Selena Gomez, Only Murderers in the Building.
Right.
Comedy star of the year, Jeremy Allen in White Bear. Not sure why that's not really a comedy, but I don't know why.
Well,
Drama
you know, the
TV
Bear won a lot of awards, Golden Globes.
Golden Globes, and I'm not sure
Yeah.
why because they put themselves under the category of comedy, and it's not a comedy. I was not
I
laughing
don't
at
think
that.
so, but maybe that's where people classified it.
I don't know. I'm not sure. Drama TV star of the year, Jennifer Aniston in The Morning Show.
Yes.
So those were all the winners. And as you can see, there's different categories for them winning as opposed to the other award shows. Because usually other award shows you have like best screenwriter,
Right.
best ensemble, best whatever they have, right? Best
Right.
director. So they have all those, but they don't have those in the People's Choice Awards. So it was a very
Right.
different nominations this year. But yeah, Barbie won over Oppenheimer because Oppenheimer won for Golden Globes, right?
Right. And Barbie was kind of snubbed. Well, she won a lot more awards there. They also did like the daytime talk show of the year, Kelly Clarkson. I love
Oh
her. And
yes, that's
I
right.
think her heart just comes through when she does the shows. Jimmy Fallon won for the nighttime talk show. Um, let's see, male country artist was Jelly Roll, which I mean, I think he is just an unusual person to go from being in prison to being number one country male. Oh, it's
Yeah.
just it's amazing. The female was what's her name? Lainey Wilson. Best male Latin was Bad Bunny, and female Latin was Shakira.
Oh,
Um,
Shakira. Wow.
yeah,
That's a
pop
surprise.
pop artist. Who else? Taylor Swift. Hip hop was Nicki Minaj. R&B, Beyonce. Um, this where they kind of lost me. The song of the year is Vampire by Olivia Rodrigo. I'm like,
Yeah.
Vampire? All this wonderful music. I love what was I made for from the Barbie movie by Billie Eilish. I mean, that to me, that just it touches my heart. It makes you stop and think, Vampire? But she won. And she won for album of the year, which she called Guts.
Well, the
So I
young
thought,
kids like her. She's very
yes,
young and hip, and that's what they like.
yeah. Well, I think we need to soften them a little bit so that vampire isn't their go-to, maybe skipping and playing in a park. What a concept. So concert tour of the year, of course, is Taylor Swift. Social celebrity of the year, Taylor Swift. Comedian of the year, Chris Rock, when he talked about how Will Smith slapped him.
Oh,
Okay. So, those were just a few things. I mean, there's even more because they had some categories. I was like, oh, no, no, I don't believe it. So I would look at them and they were interesting. However, they're saying that these are stepping stones to the Oscars. So what do you all think? Have you heard a name enough? Oppenheimer, 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 that it's an automatic win. There was no mention of Color Purple, no mention of Rustin. There are some really great movies, and you didn't hear anything about them. So that means that the people haven't seen them, because if they had seen them, they would be
well, I
more
think because Color Purple came out beginning of this year.
right.
So that's
Yeah.
not, they weren't going to be up for nomination because it wasn't last year.
Oh, but it's been up for nominations and everything else.
Yeah,
Golden Globe.
which is why I don't understand, but I can understand why this show didn't do it, but it's weird. I don't know why.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's strange. So, did you check out the award show? Did you like what the judges, how they selected the music, the actor, the actress, the categories were kind of like Rosetta said to you, they were very different. So, what do you think about the categories? Comment below and let us know. So here in Northern California, the weather has been crazy. And I'm sure wherever you are, you're looking outside and thinking to yourself, this is some strange weather. We went through many years of drought and we were so happy to see rain. I think people are a little bit done with rain now. They're like, okay, okay. We actually have a little sunshine today. However, a couple of days ago, it was raining really hard and we're getting wind. Can you imagine in Northern California? We were in certain parts, they were put on tornado watch, a tornado in California. And that's very interesting because you have to have warm air and wind. And our wind is mostly cold. It's very seldom that we have warm air, but you have to have that combination to build the funnel. We also had thunder and lightning. And I thought, I can't believe it. Because in the South, it rains and you always get thunder and lightning. Sometimes you get thunder and lightning before you get the water. So weather patterns are definitely changing. Southern California has been more severely impacted than northern. Because of the winds, a lot of trees tumbled down. We were without power in Los Angeles and San Diego and what is that? Mar-a-Lago, where Oprah Winfrey lives. You just saw waves and sheets of water just rolling through the streets. So the reason that, we bring up weather every week is to try and keep it in everyone's consciousness. We can turn this around. We do not have to let the weather patterns become so severe because people, if it's cold in sunny California, that should tell you, okay, something's going on with our ecosystem. And there are things that we can do to help it. We just have to do it. We have to stop listening to people who are just out and outright lying to you that, oh, it's just a little bad weather. I don't think so.
We've been talking about this since I can't even remember when, Gloria. We
I
always talk
know.
about it, and we always say that if you don't believe in global warming, then what's happening to our weather and everything that's happening in this nation of ours? So just don't know. Remember, it started all way back when. Do you remember
Yeah.
when shoot, well, who was that politician that came out with it with Leonardo DiCaprio and Al
Oh,
Gore?
Gore.
Al
Yeah,
Gore,
Vice President Gore. Yeah,
no
Al
one
Gore.
paid attention to him. I actually didn't pay attention to him, which is sad because I should have. But I paid attention more closely when Greta Thunberg came to the US. And that's when I started to really take it seriously and do some more research because I want to be informed and I want to be educated and have the knowledge as to why this is happening and why she is so passionate about why coming all the way to the US and speaking at the United Nations.
Right.
So this is all this weather thing is just all man-made. We did it to
Yes.
ourselves, and we've talked in the past about what we can do practically straight away right now that can help make some small dents into future global warming. I mean, I don't know how much it can do, but because they're saying by the year 2050 or whatever, some
Yeah.
city's going to be
Yeah.
eradicated from the map.
Yeah.
So
That we're just going to be underwater because if the icebergs continue to melt, they're just going to turn into water. And as they rise, land will decrease. So, I know Greta is still doing a lot of work, and it is her intention that people realize if they want their children and their grandchildren to have the life that they have where they can walk outside and not have to put mask on and all of that stuff, or not be able to go out at all because it's too cold, we have to shift this trend that we're on. And right now they give us hope that you know natural resources where we live, we have these huge windmills, huge, huge, huge. And they're talking about air technology. If we can figure out ways how to use air and sun, things that are natural, inert to Mother Earth, then we don't have to worry about, all of these toxins that we're putting into the air, like for fuel, so that we can run our cars. So if you've got an idea that's just burning a hole in you and you're like, I know what we could do, comment below. Let's have a conversation. Rosetta and I, we're very, very open and we want to figure out solutions so that
we'd
our
love to
children,
hear about it, and we would actually comment on it and talk about it on one of our future chats.
absolutely, we would love, love, love to do that because we know that we have to do something to shift. We have to make a change. When we were talking, something came up in my mind and I thought, oh yeah, we should talk about that. It's gone now. Oh my goodness. So what else did I want to talk about today before we do our little helpful hints of what's going on in the world? Um, nope, I can't think of it. Can you think of anything else that we talked about earlier?
Nope, cannot
Okay.
think about that. We talked about what we wanted to talk about. We wanted to get out there the Black History Month and
Yes.
making sure that people knew about the Alabama, the new ruling.
Yes, I know what it is. This weekend is the Chinese New Year parade in San Francisco. And I hope, because the
Oh,
last two,
yes.
the last two has been raining, because I thought it was going to be February 9th, because I think February 8th is the first day of the new Chinese year. However, it was raining really bad. And it was
Oh,
raining last Saturday. So we're hoping that the sunshine will
well, it's
continue.
never on the day because Chinese New Year was on the 10th of
Okay.
February. So it's never on the actual first day. They usually do it a week or two out.
Right.
So we'll
So this
see.
is yeah. So
Hopefully
hopefully
there
it's
shouldn't
gonna,
be any rain. It's not saying there's rain. And guess who's
nope.
actually going to be in the parade? A
Who?
famous movie star called Aquafina.
I love her.
She's
I
coming.
love her.
Yeah, she's going to be in the parade this year. So
Oh, see, that's
everybody,
really
if you
cool.
don't see it live, record it and then see when she comes in the parade.
Yes. Um, I never knew who she was until Crazy Rich Asians came out. And I've watched that movie so much I could narrate it because I really, really love that
I'm
movie. And
waiting
I
for
love her character.
Crazy Rich Asians Part 2. They should be coming out with number 2.
I am so excited to see, did they get married? I know Mama gave her the ring. Is everything happy? Have they had a baby? I mean, I
Yep.
have all these questions that I cannot wait. I
And it
cannot
will be
wait.
coming out. Hopefully, we don't have to wait too much longer for that.
Hopefully not. Hopefully not. So that was what I had wanted to make sure I
Oh,
remember to say.
and there was another thing we were going to remind people of this weekend. Remember, there's going to be a docu-series, 2 parts.
Yes, it's all about Wendy Williams.
Wendy Williams.
So, Wendy, we're going to do this in your honor. One, two, three.
How
How
you
you
doing?
doing? We used to do that in almost every chat for like our first year because we always talked about her and hot topics. And now Wendy has become the hot topic. Our thoughts and prayers go out to her. What we're seeing of the previews, it's very scary. I know she had some health issues. I just don't think that it's just a health issues. They're making it seem like she's, possibly drinking. She's just not taking care of herself. And so we're going to watch it. It's on this weekend. And next week for our chat, we might not talk about nothing else but Wendy because we want to honor and respect her because Wendy Williams speaking her truth. She did that for 13 years and then something happened. And I mean, I miss her. I miss how she used to read people and she would tell them, you think because you're sitting here, I'm going to treat you different than I talked about you? Not happening. I love an authentic woman. So it touches my heart that she's not doing well right now.
Yeah, it's going to be on Lifetime, the channel Lifetime. But also, if you don't have Lifetime, you can catch it on Hulu, I believe. Hulu, it's going to be
Yes,
streaming on Hulu.
yes,
So we'll be watching, and next week we'll be chit-chatting.
absolutely. So this is our introduction part of our little chats. My name's Gloria Webb Williams. My name my company name is Ancient Stones Nurturing Natural. I'm an all natural mineral makeup manufacturer right here in Santa Clara, California. And my tip of the day is moms, dads. It is now time to really focus on your young children. I have been shocked and mortified that social media is driving our children, and I'm talking 8 years old, to buy skincare products and makeup at 8. You should not be allowing your child to put and they're not just going to Long's, or CVS or Walgreens. They're going to Sephora. They're going to Nordstrom. They are spending high-end money. High-end money doesn't mean that it's still good for your child's skin. Their skin is so young and beautiful. That skincare is for someone of a delicate age who's trying to get back to where your 8-year-old skin is. So just ask yourself, why would I allow my child to put skincare on their face? Why would I allow my child of 8 to put on makeup and then get on social media where we know everybody on social media is not a loving, kind person? So they could look at your 8-year-old and think they're like 15 years old. So think about protecting your child before you allow them to hop on these social media sites and display their love for skincare and cosmetics. I am all about accentuating your natural beauty, not trying to make you look like someone else, not making you look like something that's manufactured. We were just talking about the Kardashians. If you were to take some of those young ladies and put them into a glass bubble and put their original body frame with the new improved body frame, they look very, very different. So teach your teens and tweens to love themselves and to love who they are. Makeup is to accentuate your natural beauty. It is not to morph you into something that you're not. So that's my helpful tip of the day. Gloria Webb Williams, Ancient Stones Nurturing Natural.
Thank you, Gloria, very much for that tip. So I do agree that children should not be wearing makeup at such a young age. And I've seen, you'd be surprised when I go on YouTube and I see kids that are showing us as adults or the world how to do makeup. It just does not look good on a young child. It makes them look way older than they are. But
Yeah,
skincare, if it's just creams, I don't mind a bit of cream because you want to make sure that their faces have moisturizer on their skin. That's fine. But
right,
anything more than that, I think it's a bit too early and a bit too much. And I just feel that, again, you don't want to look older than you are. You never know who's watching you. And, all sorts of things can come from that. So thank you, Gloria.
right. Absolutely.
All right. And I'm Rosetta Chow. Simply Health, certified health coach and educator. I say educate because I love educating people and giving them the knowledge to equip themselves so they can be independent and do things on their own that are long lasting and sustainable. So, my health tip of the day is also about parents and children. We are on the
Yay.
same line here. And I want to say, because this is near and dear to my heart, is helping parents raise healthy children. Because I believe healthy children become healthy adults, and healthy adults become a healthy society. So we
Yes,
have to start by making sure, as parents, we shape the taste buds of our children at a very young age. Shape the young taste buds at an early age and emulate at an early age. If you want your child to eat healthier, emulate that. Don't say, do as I say, not as I
not
do.
as I do.
Yes. So everything stems from when they're young, because when they're young, they're very impressionable. So it starts off when they're young. And I always say, introduce them to healthy foods at a young age. Because have you noticed, growing up, our family is what shapes and makes our culture. Family life makes our culture. Just think of that. We are born
Yes,
into a family, like let's say, because I'm Asian, I'm born into the Chinese culture. Why is that? It's because I've been taught Chinese traditions and the
yes,
way we cook, the way we eat, some things we do, that becomes the Chinese culture. Why
right,
not teach our children how to be healthy and make it a healthy lifestyle culture so that within the family, your child is saying, this is what we do as a healthy lifestyle culture. So start young. And
right.
my goal is I try and help the parents as best I can to raise healthy children. And I give you practical and just solutions that you can implement within your family straight away and make it fun. Because if it's not fun, then it's not doable or sustainable. So, my tip of the day is parents, think about it, start young, and do what you're teaching your child to do because they'll emulate what you're practicing, not what you're preaching and doing something different.
Yes,
So there you have it, Rosetta Chow, Simply Health. Your health matters, and so does the health of your children.
absolutely. I completely agree. That is spot on, spot on. So we want to thank you very much for hanging out with us today, allowing us to share our thoughts and feelings and opinions, and that's what they are. They're our thoughts and our opinions. And we are hoping to lift us all up into love and light and to guide us toward a more community life where things are not as negative as they feel right now. We want to take some of that negativity away. And if there are individuals around that are negative, we're just going to pray them away. So we want you to know that we feel the love in the room. We send it back to you, bubbling over. And we thank you so much for the opportunity to hang out with you today.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. And if you loved our chat, as we love doing it every week, please remember to hit that thumb icon, subscribe to our channel, hit the bell notification,
Ding, 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 ding.
and we are Silicon Valley Girls Chat Over Tea. And
And
remember
remember
to
to
always
always
keep
keep
smiling.
smiling.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.